Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third phase to getting started with the R programming language. And so if this is the very first time you are following us or you are watching us, then you better be at the lookout for other two videos that has been released. Okay. In the case, to get started, ensure you have the R programming language being saved and installed on your desktop. Then from there, we can use the software to do any other analysis that we will want to make. That well established. And so if you are following us for the very first time, then I will entreat you to look out for my other two videos that has been made. Okay, look out for my other two videos, getting started with the R programming language, as this video is the third part of getting started with the R programming language. In the case, if you want the link to download the software, this is the link: https://posit.co download RStudio desktop. Right, so that's the link to get the software, both the R software and that of the RStudio software. Is that okay? Right. And so let's get started. Quickly launch the RStudio software by clicking on the RStudio icon on your desktop. And also when you start the software, this is the interface that you ought to see. This is the interface that you ought to see, right? So at this time around, you are going to have 4 subsections: the editor, the console, the environment, and the output, right? You recall the previous 3 codes that we run in the editor. You see here, we still have access to the previous codes. We still have access to the previous code. But here is the console. And so whenever you start the console, you are going to have this information. You see, the console pane or the console section always starts with informations, right? It starts with information about the version number of the software, the license, the contributors, and provide some guidelines on how to get help, right? So it always starts with this particular writings that you can see here on the console. I taught you the right time how to clear your console by simply doing Control and pressing the letter L. So Control L, that will clear your console for you. And by clearing your console, all that we are doing is we are trying to erase the writing so that we can have a space for our outcomes, right? And recall again, in subsequent or in previous videos, I taught you how we can recall codes, right? So to recall a previous code that we've done, just come to the console and press the arrow key up, the up arrow key. That will enable you to recall all other previous code that you might have run earlier on. So when I press up, I'll be able to recall all the previous code that I have been able to run earlier on. Is that well established? Good. Having established that, let's continue. Let's continue from where we landed the other time. Let's continue from there. Okay, so by continuing, today I want to look at how to output a text, right? All along, we've been looking at how to output a number. How to output a number. That's what we've been looking at all along, right? But this time around, we want to look at how to output a text. So let me increase I want to increase the editor small. Okay, right. So this is getting started part 3, right? Getting started part 3. Getting started part 3. Okay, so here we want to look at how to output a character. When I say a character here, I'm referring to a text. So like I said earlier on, we're looking at how to output a number or a code. So here we have the previous three codes. At any point in time, we can run them by pressing the run icon or doing Control Enter to give you the outcome, right? So this time around, we want to look at how to output a text. So recall in our previous example, when I typed the name Joseph, J-O-S, Joseph Malta, and when I ran it, it gave me an error. So I'm going to run it again, Control Enter. It says what? Unexpected symbol in what? Joseph Malta. And so at the right-hand side, you see what? The, let me say the error notification, right? It says unexpected token. So here, what it means is that, like I said, we have violated the syntax, or we've not done the very right thing that the software expects us to do, right? We've not done what is expected of us. And so this is what we call an error in what the software, okay? And so to rectify this error, all that you need to do is to put the text in the quotation mark. You see, to output a text, that text has to be in what? A quotation mark, either a single quote or what? A double quote. But to output a number, you don't need to have that number in a quotation mark. You just type the number as it is. However, if you want to output a text, the text must be in what? A quotation mark. Don't ever forget this. So because Joseph Malta is not in a quotation mark, that is why whenever I run it, it gives me what? An error. I'm going to run it again. It will still give me what? The error. And so to correct this error, I must first of all ensure that what I have the name Joseph Malta in what? In a quotation mark, right? So it could be a single quote or a double quote. Now, this is one good thing about the RStudio. As soon as you press the quote, the single quote, it comes in this way. This is for the double quote, right? This is for the single quote. So check on line 10, you find a single quote. Check on line 9, you find a double quote, right? Okay, so to output a text, all that you need to do is to ensure that what that text is in a single quote or a double quote. By quote, I mean quotation mark. That's what I mean by the word quote, quotation mark, right? Okay, so you can choose to go with any one of your choice, single quote or double quote. As of now, you can choose to go with any one of your choice, right? One thing that makes the R more user-friendly is that whenever you type the single quote, it will immediately give you the closing. So on line 10, to the left is what? The opening of what? The single quote. To the right is what? The closing of what? The single quote. Similarly, in the case of line 9, so in between where the cursor is, where I've placed the cursor on line 9 of my screen, where I have the cursor to be. So in between the cursor to the left-hand side is what we call the opening quotation mark. And then to the right-hand side of the cursor is what we call what? The closing quotation mark. Right? So this is where I'm going to type the word. Anything that is in word or in character or in text is supposed to be in quotation. That is by the syntax of the software. It's similar to Python as well, right? It's similar to Python as well. You can use a single quote. You can as well use a double quote. The choice is up to you. However, just ensure that there is consistency. You don't use an opening single quote and what? A closing single quote. It doesn't make sense. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. So check on line 9. Line 9 is what we call double quotation mark, right? And then on line 10, that's what we call a single quotation mark. Yeah. So I have a single quotation mark and have what? A double quotation mark. They are the acceptable quotation mark that is used to output a text. Now check line 11. Line 11 is not the accepted way of what outputting the text. That's why the opening quote is a single quote, as you can see, right? But the closing is what? A double quote, and it's not allowed. Use single throughout or use double throughout. In similar way, you don't have yet to be a double quote, and then the closing is what? A single quote. So check line 10, line 11 and 12, sorry. Line 11 and line 12 on my screen. They are not allowed. On line 12, you can see it starts with a double quotation mark and ends with a single quotation mark. It is not allowed. So let me pass a comment, and I'll explain what a comment is right away. So not allowed. Again, yeah, it's not allowed, right? Yeah, we are still learning. So the acceptable ones are line 9, this, and what? Line 10. Line 11 and 12 are not allowed. Is that well understood? Okay, so now let's get started. So single quote or double quote, whatever you want to go by, that is fine. So let's start with hello world. Hello world. So as you can see, I've typed the word hello world or the text hello world in what? A quotation mark. So to run, I'll just click on the run icon here. Now check my console. Have you seen this time around? I have the output hello world. I have the output hello world this time around. Earlier on, I was not having the output. But this time around, I have the output hello world. Let's go again. Let me use a single quote this time around. Press enter to give me more space. So I just press enter to give me more space in the script editor. I'm going to go by a single quote this time around. I'm going to type AMA, A-M-A. So I'm going to run. To run again, we do what? Control enter. As you can see in the console, AMA. Right. Let's do the last one. Let's take double quote, Kofi. Kofi is my father's name actually, so I do like that name, Kofi. So to run Kofi, you see, we have the outcome here. So, but you see, earlier on, when I type Ama and Kofi without the quotation mark, it gave an error. But this time around, I'm not seeing the error. Why? I have put them in what? A quotation mark. So what the software is trying to tell you is that whenever you want to output anything, you want to display anything that is in a text character, it should be in what? A quotation mark. Other than that, it will not be able to give you an outcome or an output. It will only produce an error for you. To produce an error for you, right? Now, quickly, let's look at comment. Yeah. So I've been using comment all along, but let me explain it into details better this time around. What a comment is. What is a comment? Right. So let me have comment. COMMENT. So today we've looked at this is the link to download the software. Then we've looked at quotation marks, right? Now let's look at comments. Okay, so comment is very, very essential in programming language, specifically Python and R. It is very, very essential in that it helps give an explanation to a line of code, right? It helps give an explanation to a line of what? Code. One good thing about a comment is that it makes our code more readable. so that at a later time, should anyone pick your script or your code, the person will be able to understand what that code means. Is that okay? So comments are equally important, and to make use of a comment, we start with the hashtag. So let me just have a note over there. To pass a comment, to pass a comment, we make use, we make usage, we make use of the hashtag symbol. And so whenever you bring the hashtag symbol, any other text that you write after it is seen as what? A comment, right? Anything after the hashtag is seen as what? A comment, meaning the software will not execute anything after the hashtag. It will not execute it. Take, for example, I say, let's say 5 plus 6. This is an example of a code I want to write. I'm going to have the hashtag. So here we can have a small narration. Probably adding the integers 5 and what? 6. So that if someone picks your code, or the person know that, oh, okay, so 5 plus 6 means the person is adding these two integers together, right? When I run this, it will give me the outcome as what? 11. Let me clear my console, Control L. Let me rerun this place again, line 18. You see, 5 plus 6 is what? 11. This is what the software did. So it to start from the left all the way to where the 6 is, right? Anything after the hashtag will not be seen as a code. So anything after the hashtag, the software is being made to understand or see it as what? A comment and not a code. However, if I'm to do this, let me copy this again and paste. So maybe let's have hashtag 5 plus 6. Hashtag 5 plus 6. When I run this, it will not give me the answer that I desired to be 11. Why? The software will see it as what? A comment and not a code, because of this hashtag that I have before the integers. So let me run it. Run. Listen. It comes as what? A comment and not a code. Is that okay? So the execution starts from the very left to the right hand side. So in the case of line 18, it started from here to what? 6. And then anything after the hashtag is not captured. Is that okay? So that is one use of what? The comment. Comment helps make our code more readable. It helps us avoid execution when we are testing probably alternative code. Okay, so in advanced level, whenever you're trying to test alternative code and then at a point you don't want it to run, you can just put a hashtag there. Sometimes in flow control, we equally does that. Okay, we equally do that, right? So that is it about what? Comment. Now for comment, you can use comment to take notes. Maybe you go for a lecture, and the course of the lecture or the lecturing, you are taking some notes, right? I can use the comment to take notes. Okay. So for example, this is a comment. This is also another, this is also a comment. So to make a comment, just bring the hashtag, as simple as that, right? To make a comment, you just do what? Bring hashtag. Okay. Maybe Um, let's take this note. My first day programming the R software. It was it was such a nice, now let me use great. It was such a great experience with the instructor being Joseph Mauto. So I can just press enter to bring me down. Have another comment. Then I want to continue. Joseph Mauto is really good at what he does, right? He makes learning are enjoyable. It makes learning are enjoyable. I mean, so as many comments you want to pass, I mean, that's up to you. All that you need to do is to remember to bring what? The hashtag. Is that okay? It's very, very vital that along every line of code you bring the hashtag. Okay, so before we finally I think the next thing we have to look into is what we call R variable. Okay, but I will not be doing that here. I will not be doing the R variable now. Probably that will be in a different video. So for now, let's look at what we were doing earlier on. One aspect of the Python software is for numerical computation. Okay, for calculations, right? So let's continue. Let's continue. So far, we've made use of the addition operator, the subtraction operator. There are other operators as far as computation is concerned that we need to what? Know. Is that okay? There are other mathematical operations that we will need to what? Abreast ourselves with as far as the software is concerned. Is that okay? And so far, so good. We've looked at the addition. We've looked at the subtraction. That is very, very powerful. Now, how about we look at division, look at multiplication and exponentiation, and so on and what so forth. Okay. Then from there we will end this session with getting started with what the R software. Is that okay? So now we are using um R software as a calculator. Okay, so we've looked at addition, we've looked at subtraction. Let's look at other operators. Now, so addition, that is plus, subtraction, that is minus, right? And what again can we look into? We can look into multiplication. And multiplication in the software is this symbol, the star, right? That is for multiplication. How about exponent? Exponent, or what we call power. Exponent or power. Maybe something raised to the power something. So for exponent, we use double of the star. Now let's just use the third, this one, the inverted V, right? The upside down V. That one is for what? Exponents. So what are we doing now? Right now, I'm giving you the basic arithmetic operators. basic arithmetic operators. So addition, multiplication. So take note of the symbol. Addition, multiplication, subtraction, multiplication, exponent, and then let's look at what? Division. Division. And division, this is the symbol, the forward slash. Take note, not the backslash. To my left-hand side is the forward slash. To my right-hand side is what? The backslash. Division uses what? The forward slash. Take note. Take note. This is the forward slash. Now, let's take some example. Just give me two figures. Just give me two figures. Okay, for let me give you a list of other. We have so for a division, we have two other divisions. We have the integer division and we have the modulo remainder, right? So for integer division, we have the forward bar. So you know this forward bar to do what? The division symbol, right? But here we are going to have percentage. That is in between the two percentages have my what? Division symbol. So this is what we call what? Integer division. Integer division. Again, we have another type of division that we call the modulo. The modulo. Right, so now let's take some practical examples. So we've done addition, we've done subtraction. I wouldn't bother myself with it again. Let's look at multiplication. Give me two numbers for your choice. Okay, so probably 3 multiplying by 6. So let me use multiplying 3 by 6. So you see how I'm making use of the comments. So I'm going to run Control Enter. So when I multiply 3 by 6, it's giving me what? 18. So at your leisure time, just pick any two random numbers, then you just play along with it, right? So that is for what? Multiplication. Let's do that of exponentiation, or what we call power. So give me two symbols. Let's do 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3. So here I said 2 raised to the power 3, or 2 exponent 3. And so by exponent, what we are doing is that we are multiplying a number by itself an n number of times, where that n is the exponent, right? Whenever you multiply a number by itself a number of times, we are doing what we call exponentiation. So here, 2 raised to the power 3, all that we are saying is that what? Multiply 2 by itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is what? Is when I run this line of code, I'm supposed to get 8. Here we are. 2 raised to the power 3 is indeed what? 8. That's 2 times 2 times 2. Right. So that is what? 8. That is for what we call exponent. Now, how about division? Let's do a simple division. Give me two numbers. Let's divide 8 divided by probably 4. So here, dividing 8 by 4. And so you all agree that whenever we divide 8 by 4, the result is always what? 2. So here we are. Whenever we divide 8 by 4, the result is what? 2. The result is what? 2. Right. Let's take that of integer division. So give me two numbers. 8. Have I erased that of the modulo? The modulo is percentage, right? Percentage. Where are you? So that's the symbol for modulo, percentage, percentage, right? Percentage, percentage. So let's have percentage, percentage, then 8 divided by probably 3. Let me see, 8 divided by 3. We've got an error. It says unexpected special. We've got an error. We've got an error. Let's try this. Let me bring the 3 here. Then bring the 8 here. And see if that'll rectify the error. Listen, we just rectified the error. So this is a proof that you, at one point in time, come across error. Have you seen? So earlier on, this is what I did. I did this and it gave me an error. And then what? I edited the code and now I have the right thing here. Now, quick, let me explain the integer division. Okay, so by integer division, it just gives you the number of times the numerator the number of times the numerator divides the denominator, right? So here 3 divides, or what we call, what we see in our local dialect, 3 goes into 8 how many times, right? 3 goes into 8 2 times with a remainder of what? 2. Let's take another example. 9 percentage symbol divided by percentage symbol. Let's take probably 5. So let's run this, and then we are supposed to get 1. Why are we getting 1? 4, 5 goes into what? 9 how many times? 1. 1 or once. Then it leaves a remainder of what? 4. Right? And so by the integer division, it just gives us an integer number of the number of times that the denominator divides what? The numerator. Is that okay? But in the case where it gives us only the remainder, that is what we call what? A modulo division. A modulo division. A modulo division. Let's take an example. So let me pass the comments here. This is an integer division of 8 by 3. So same thing to line 41. Now line 42, let's do that of a modulo, a modulo, a modulo. So let's take 16 modulo. Modulo is double, yeah, double of or twice of the percentage symbol. So let's take 5. So here the question is, how many times does the number 5 divide 16? The number 5 divides 16 3 times, leaving a remainder of what? 1. So by modulo division, it produces or it gives us the remainder, right? So here you're supposed to get what? 1. Let me clear my console. So at a point in time, the console can get occupied or filled up. To clear it, just do Control L. So let me run the code again. I'm going to get what? 1, right? So this is what we call what? A modulo division or a remainder division. A modulo division or a remainder division. So this is just, by the way, for what? Basic arithmetic operators. As a matter of fact, there are other operators. There are other operators, but I want us to look at something very important. There are other operators. We have the less than operator, we have the greater than operator, we have the equal to operator, we have less than or equal to operator, we have greater than or equal to operator, we have not equal to operator. I'll only list them for you. We will not take examples in that regard. So at your leisure time, just pick two numbers and then play around with it. Then you get to appreciate the software. So now let's look at relational operators. Relational operators. So earlier on, we looked at what? Arithmetic operators. Let me type them in upper cases. Basic arithmetic operators. And this time around, we are looking at what? Relational operators. So by the relational operators, you have the less than, operator, which we all know to be this symbol, right? Can you guess of any? You have the, oh no. We have the less than or equal to. So less than or equal to, right? You have the greater than operator. And we all know that with this symbol. Again, we have the greater than or equal to. So the greater than or equal to operator. And as usual, that will be greater than or equal to operator, right? Then how about the equal to itself that we know? We have the assignment operator. And for the assignment operator, we are going to make extensive use of it when we get to variable, right? So let me just say it for now. Or let me just keep the assignment operator for now. But then this is the symbol for the assignment operator. Assignment operator. So this is what we know in mathematics to be what? Equal to. But in the software, it is not called equal to, it is called an assignment operator. The equal to that we know in the software is this. So take note. Here is just a single typing mistake. Here is just a single or one of the symbol. Here, two of the symbols. So for equal to operator, we have what? Two of the symbols. But whenever you have one of the symbols, that's what we call an assignment operator. Like I said, I'll make extensive use of that when we get to variables, right? So for now, let me get rid of the assignment operator. Let's only focus on what? The equal to operator. So this is the equal to operator. Is that okay? So just pick any two random numbers and then bring the symbols in between. Then it will give you the outcome. Most at times, it's going to be Boolean. By Boolean, what I mean is that anything that is of a Boolean response gives you two outcomes or two alternatives, either this or that, either true or what? False, right? So give me two numbers, 5. 5. What symbol should I use? 5 is less than. 5 is less than probably 9. Let's run this, Control Enter. So you see, this is a true statement. That's why here is what? True. Because 5 is indeed less than what? 9. How about I do 5 is greater than 9? This is a false statement, right? 5 is not less than 9. That's why here's giving me what? A false. So let's try this. 5 equals 9. This is false because 5 is not the same as 9. How about I do 5 equals 5? Then in that case, that is a true statement. 5 indeed is the same as what? 5 numerically or quantitatively. 5 is the same as what? 5, right? So just pick any of these relational operators and then pick any two numbers of your choice. It will give you the response either true or what? False. There is one operator that has skipped me. That is what we call not equal to. Not equal to. Not equal to operator. Should I bring the symbol first? This is the less than operator. Less than, or let me just leave it. It's still the same. The understanding is still the same. Right. So let's take an example. 6. 6 is not equal to 9. Let me run this. It will tell you true. 6 is not equal to what? 9. Right. So that's it about what? The relational operators, right? The relational operators. So just take two numbers of your choice and then you run it, then you are good to go. So just take any two numbers of your choice. Okay. Take any two numbers of your choice, and then when you run it, it will give you the desired outcome. Either true or what? False. Either true or what? False. Either true or what? False. Now, let me highlight on one more thing, what I call the format or computational format on computational format. Okay. And so by the computational format, it goes by what we call PEMDAS. PEMDAS. This is the format for computation. In the case where you have multiple multiple operators. You have multiple operators. Then in that case, the rule is the PEMDAS, where the P stands for hashtag parenthesis. This is what we mean by parenthesis. That's the round bracket, followed by exponent, and we know what exponent is, followed by multiplication. Let me do it this way instead. This one would rather be nice. Let me do it this way. So followed by exponent, followed by multiplication. So parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, followed by division, followed by sometimes the division and multiplication can be kind of interchanged. Yeah, it doesn't really change the final answer. It doesn't really change the final answer. Yeah, so division followed by addition. Then finally, we have what? Subtraction. Finally, have what? Subtraction. So let's take an example. Let's take an example 3. Let's take an example 3 plus 5 times 2. What do you think is going to be the answer to this question? 3 plus 5 plus 2. What do you think is going to be the answer to this question? Is it going to be 13 or 16? What do you think the answer is going to be? Is it going to be 16 or 13? The truth of the matter is that it's going to be 13. So if you do 3 plus 5, 8, 8 times 2, 16, you are wrong. In the sense that it must follow this rule. Or let me just say computational rule. Yeah, it must follow that rule. So here, the multiplication comes before what? The division. Sorry, the addition. So multiplication before addition. So it must first of all multiply 3 by 2, 35 by 2, giving you 10, before adding the result to what? 3, where you get what? 13. And so whenever you have multiple operators in one line, the code or the rule that must follow is parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, or what? Subtraction. So always remember this rule. The parenthesis here is telling us bracket, round bracket, right? So let's take an example. I have a round bracket here. I'm going to repeat the same code, 3 plus 5, multiplying by 2. You see, here I have typed a different code. So the code online 63 is not the same as what I have on line 64. On line 63, I'm getting the answer to be what? 13. But on line 64, when I run this code, it's going to give me 16. Yeah, here we are, 16. Why? The rule says that what? Deal with parentheses first before what? Any other operator. So he is going to work with what? The items, the values in the parentheses, in the round bracket. So 3 plus 5, that's 8. Before what? The multiplication takes over. That's how come we are getting 16. So let's take note of this, right? This is how far we've come with this session. I believe it has been educative and enjoying, right? And so this is where we end the session. Thanks for your time and see you in my subsequent videos. Bye-bye. Before you go, don't forget to save your script. Don't forget to save your script. And let me do one more thing. You just came to mind. Let me do one more thing. All right. All along, we've been doing something that has to do with giving us the outcome in the console and not in the outcome. This is because we've not done anything graphic, right? We've not done anything graphics. Let's take some simple graphic or simple plots. Don't worry, you'll get to plot very soon. Simple plot. So let's say plot, P-L-O-T, into brackets, plot from 1 to 5. Right. So I want to plot this. So take note, when I plot and I'm going to plot the code 1:5. Okay. So do you see? Anything that has to do with graphics, the answer always comes in what? The output. As you can see, 1 to 5, 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, right? So don't worry. Subsequent videos, you will get to do extensive visualization and stuff like that. Okay, so thank you for your time. And if you enjoy such educative lecture, kindly give me a thumb up, give me a support. Right. Thank you. Bye.